Well, hello everyone. How you doing? Nice to be with you again this morning. Looking forward to another session here. And as you get your notices from Facebook, and Wendy, you're number one on the hit parade today. Good morning to you. Kevin, number 2. Paul, number 3. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. 4. John, Elgin, Illinois. Anna, Hammer, Evangeline, Nativity. Okay, folks are coming on. Good morning, Holly. How you doing? Rosa, how you doing? I'm going to say hello to Nativity in case I forget her. Denise, Nouveau-Brunswick, bonjour. Debbie, and Deb from Timmins. Fran, Orangeville. Lorraine, good morning. Sunny, British Columbia. Well, it's sunny in Sudbury this morning. Frida, Nick from our staff. Rita, and Barbara, and Rhonda. Barbara. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Korea, how are you? Diane, Newfoundland. Bert, Brenda, Campbell River. Janet, good morning. JP, how are you? Linda, the real Linda. Frances Marie. Donna, Dale. Leanne, Kitchener, good morning, Kitchener. Sturgeon Falls, Debbie, Rita, and Adeline, good morning. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate you guys. Cindy in Ottawa. Good morning, Ottawa. Vera, we appreciate you guys so much. Annette from Nouveau-Brunswick, and she's saying it's raining there. Maureen, Georgie, Halifax. Zian and Jean, our dear friends. Margaret. AJ, Yalaun, bonjour. Jeanette from our staff. Susan, Jerry, dear friend from Nouveau-Brunswick. Dave, Hazel, Edith, good morning, guys. A couple of more. Serpa, I was waiting for you, Serpa. Kathy, good morning. Wanda from Virginia. And Rita, Teresa, and David, and Marianne, and Anne. Marianne, that's a song too. I should be singing that. And Larry from Huntsville. Cindy, how are you? And Diney, good morning. Saudi, good morning. Jerry saying, yep, it's pouring rain out there. Well, I feel sorry for you guys. No Viderma today, Lynn. And you guys, thank you for, thank you. Pat, good morning. And Marianne, thank you very much. Veronica, hello. And Cindy. Okay, now, I get a lot of questions about itis, I-T-I-S at the end of a word, okay, of a medical condition. Whenever you hear itis, like arthritis, tinnitus, tendinitis, Achilles, tendinitis, plantar fasciitis, there's a commercial on the radio that I always get a kick out of because it says, do you suffer from plantar fasciitis? And real fast, it goes plantar fasciitis, arthritis, tinnitus, or whatever, and then it goes on and on and on. And I just sort of, I'm chuckling inside because I'm thinking of all my patients and they're going, yep, I got all of those. Okay, so I answer a lot of questions about itis, arthritis, tinnitus, plantar fasciitis. Okay? Anytime, let me give you an overarching principle. Itis is inflammation. Okay? So when you hear the word arthritis, that's inflammation of the joints. Okay? And there's even another condition, arteritis, inflammation of the arteries. But let me give you today a common denominator of all these things. And if you go, and this is why I double down on doing the reset. You have to understand my thinking. And we're going to go over some of these things. I used to have a big chart in my office on the wall in my two examination rooms. And it was the charts for insulin resistance. Okay? I would call them award-winning charts. And the reason is we gave ourselves an award at the Martin Clinic for putting these two together. And it used to shock people, literally shock people. How can there be a connection between anything in itis and food, insulin? Okay? So we had check your engine light. You know, your engine light would go off. And guys, listen. If 88% of the population struggle with what we call metabolic syndrome, that is, their metabolism isn't working properly. They're on the broad road that leads to destruction. That's what it means. If you're in that 88%, now I'm assuming that you guys know this, but I got to go over it anyways, because if you look at the world out there, 88% of the population, this has been done study after study after study. And it doesn't get a lot of ink. Because whenever it comes to food and prevention, medicine is almost silent on it. And when they do make a statement about food, they're wrong. Okay? You know, we've talked about that. Oh, red meat, it's no good for you. And medicine doubles down. It's carcinogenic. It is full of cholesterol. It's no good. And blah, blah, blah. But it's not true. You know it, and I know it. It's not true. How could it be true? How could it be true that red meat is no good for you if every vitamin and mineral is in there? The best food in the universe. And then they say, no, it's no good. So block your ears, guys, when it comes to the world screaming at you, and because they all want you to be a vegetarian, and even preferably, they want you to be a vegan. But the big problem in the world is metabolic syndrome. It has to do with food. It has to do with rising insulin rates. And whenever I want to talk about today, symptoms to look for. And you know what I did? Not only the chart that we have, When I was preparing, I'm writing a new book right now. So what I've been doing is sort of collecting testimonies. It was much easier when I was in the office because we had all their case histories. But it doesn't matter. People are posting on Facebook, and here's what we're seeing. Dramatic changes, especially in inflammation. Now, inflammation, remember, it's not Houdini. You just don't get inflammation. Now, if you get kicked in the knee or you fall down or whatever, you're going to have inflammation. That's just normal. It's your body's ambulance system. But it's not normal for it to come without an infection or without an injury. It's not normal. Inflammation comes when your insulin is too high. Your body responds to it with an inflammatory response. That is why we see so much itis, arthritis, carpal tunnel, Achilles. These are major issues in society today. Inflammation. Inflammation is secondary. It's not primary. The primary cause, when it's not an infection and when it's not an injury, is insulin. So let me go over some of the things that we've seen that people have posted on Facebook, and then some sending me direct emails. Okay? info@martinclinic.com. They get to me. Our staff looks at them. They send it to me. Look at this, Doc. Look at how interesting this is. And we've seen enormous changes when you get your insulin down. Now remember, insulin is food, and insulin comes, high insulin, circulating insulin happens when you eat carbs. It's as simple as that. When you eat steak, insulin takes a holiday. When you have an egg, insulin takes a holiday. When you have cheese, by the way, a new study came out on cheese. We'll talk about it. Eggs, meat, and cheese, your pancreas is on a holiday. Your insulin, look, you need a little bit, but not much. And insulin resistance. A lot of people think it's asymptomatic, but it really isn't. And remember, again, another point. Don't wait till your blood sugar is elevated. Okay? Oh, Doc, my blood sugar. I don't mean that. I don't care. Because your body, well, that's the last thing that will happen. You see, diabetes is so misdiagnosed. Because diabetes, 50, 60, 70 years ago had to do with how much sugar you had in your bloodstream. Right? How much sugar do you have in your bloodstream? And if it's not crazy high, they go, well, you're not diabetic. But that's a lagging indicator because we've taught this over and over and over again. Your body, everything in your body will do everything it can to get blood sugar in a tight range. Empty your blood, and you'll be lucky to find a teaspoon of sugar in there an hour after you've eaten 20 donuts. Now, you're not going to hear that out there. Generally, the most ignorant profession when it comes to insulin is the medical profession. I hate to say it, but it's true. Because they're so focused in on diabetes. And once you get it, here's what you do. And they don't even talk to you about food. Most physicians will send you to a dietitian. Now that gives me a headache. That gives me a headache. Why? Because a dietitian will talk to you about moderation. And even a diabetic needs some carbohydrates. That gives me a splitting headache. How can that be good for you if you're a diabetic, you have an allergy? If you're on the road to diabetes, you have an allergy. To what? Carbs. Carbohydrates. You're on the broad road that leads to destruction in terms of your health. And what we're trying to do here, my whole goal is to get you, first of all, onto the narrow road that leads to life. Spiritually. But physically, get on the narrow road. Get on the 12% that are metabolically healthy. According to every research paper, they all agree with this. It's 88% of the population. That is an incredible statistic that are not well. So any itis, you got pain and inflammation and it's chronic, you better look at the food you're eating. It's amazing how your inflammation markers will go down when you change your fuel. Okay? Change your fuel. So when I get asked questions about, oh, doc, I got carpal tunnel. Oh, doc, I got arthritis and it's not healing. I got plantar fasciitis. I got tendonitis, my elbows and my shoulders and blah, blah, blah. Even your back. When it becomes chronic, I know you can have physical problems. I understand that. But when the body does not respond, when you don't heal, you must look at your food. Sugar is toxic. And crappy carbohydrates, the twin towers, sugars, and crappy oils. Carbohydrates. Always look at that. That's why people think of, oh, doc, metabolic reset. That's a weight loss program. It can be. It can be. It's the one I recommend for weight loss. And guys, ask me about any weight loss program if you want. I'll give you my little synopsis on what it's all about. But guys, I'm telling you, I'm big into getting you on the narrow road. And weight loss will be part of it. But when you're metabolically unwell, your body has an inflammation response. And what does that do? Itis. itis. Now, let's talk about, I'm going to just go through this list because it's always interesting. And I used to have patients, they would stare at that list on the wall in our office. And they go, Doc, holy moly. Is it possible that what I have has an underlying root cause of food? I said, it's more than possible. It's more than possible. You know what inflammation will do? It'll drain your energy. Because your body is not made for inflammation over a period of time. Like I said, you have an infection. You get a virus. You get a bacterial infection. You're going to have inflammation. That's the body's response. It's an ambulance. It's coming to the site, either of injury or infection. More white blood cells, more amino acids, more enzymes, all these things rush to the site. That's just normal. You bump your elbow and you rub it. That's inflammation. Your body's running to that scene. That's, guys, isn't it your body unbelievably made? Think about that. But what if it goes on for a long period of time? Then you have to look at the underlying cause. And that's what I do. And that's what I did for a lot of years. And my goal is to teach you this so that you're smarter than the average bear. That's my audience. I did a little quiz yesterday, and I'm always amazed how you think right along with me. I was looking for one particular answer, but all the answers were good. All of you are thinking, yep. I got to give you marks for that. So when inflammation continues, there's always an underlying cause. And the vast majority of time, when you hear these following symptoms, okay, the check engine light, check the engine light to see if you're on the broad road that leads to destruction. Low energy. Inflammation will cause your energy usually to go down. Do you know how many people in our society today have low energy? They're running on fumes, man. And no wonder. They're choosing the wrong fuel every day. Your body doesn't want that fuel, but it will take it if you give it to it. Your body doesn't want that fuel. Your body doesn't want sugar. Your body doesn't want, sugar is toxic. But if you insist, your body will take it. Oh, when I see people drinking their sugar, I go, that's like a double-barrel shotgun to your liver. You see how my brain works? I saw two people, I think it was on a commercial, drinking a fruit smoothie. And I'm, don't drink it. Stop. You're damaging your liver. Low energy, weight gain, sleep. Oh boy. How many people today have sleep problems? high cortisol, stress, they don't sleep well. You don't sleep well, your cortisol goes up. Digestive issues. Now that could be leaky gut. It could be low stomach. But you see, when you have low stomach acidity, your body, and remember, take it a step. You got low stomach acidity. Doc, how does that happen? You've got insulin resistance. The number one cause of low stomach acidity is insulin resistance. That is why we get such good results with the reset. You get rid of the sugar and crappy carbs, and your stomach goes, let me give you a high five. Thank you. Because insulin resistance leads to inflammation, and inflammation will affect your acidity in your stomach. And people don't even think of it. They never equate it. They think of, well, you know, I've got high acidity. No, you really don't. You have a reaction to low acidity in your stomach. And your body is responding to that by increasing your proton pump. You got little pumps in your stomach. They pour acid. And when you don't have enough acid, guess what they do? They pour out even more, and then it starts to go up the esophagus, and you got tum to the tum-tums. Let me reach for relief with Rolaids, or Tagamet, or the purple pill. And boy, oh boy, proton pump inhibitors. I mean, literally, the research on this is, guys, it's deadly. Every week I read a new study on the effects of proton pump inhibitors, PPIs. And they are deadly. They destroy your body. Temporary relief, long-term destruction, including cancer. Because they're not getting at the root of the issue. I know if you got, esophageal acidity, who says that's fun? It's no fun at all. But why are you getting that? Why is someone getting that? I'm a why guy. Why? I should have been a journalist. How? Why? When? Where? What is it? The 5 questions of journalism? That was me in the office. I'm a history guy. Why is that happening? And I was one of the first guys to say this. When you get insulin resistance, one of the symptoms of it is acid reflux, digestive issues. Now there's leaky gut, there's candida, there's SIBO or SIFO, there's all sorts of other issues, but I'm telling you, you better start by getting your insulin down. And I often used to tell patients, look, they'd look at that chart and they say, Doc, I got this, and this, and this. I said, well, now you need to trust me on how to fix this. You have to trust me because it's going to take you 30 days. Are you willing to give me a month of you trusting me that the root issue is you have metabolic syndrome, You're in the 88% on the broad road to destruction, and now you need to trust me to get off that road and to get onto the narrow road. Are you ready to trust me? Digestive issues. Ladies, overactive bladder. Men, frequent urination. Women bladder, men prostate. Whenever the prostate enlarges, insulin is a growth hormone. It's insulin, pal. It's insulin. That'll make your prostate grow, grow, grow. It will grow, grow, grow. And ladies, it can give you lots of bladder problems. Overactive bladder is inflammation, but inflammation is not Houdini. Why is it inflamed? It's insulin, babe. It is. And if you got a yeast infection, which is very common in women, you have a yeast infection. That'll give you even more inflammation, so now you're getting a double whammo. But if you don't feed yeast, yeast needs food. Think of yeast and think of cancer. Cancer needs sugar to grow, and so does yeast. So when you get an overactive bladder, ladies, you got yeast down there. It loves moisture. It loves the women's private parts because of your anatomy. Now, it doesn't mean men don't get yeast, but we don't get it like women get it. But yeast, fungus, thrives with insulin. It's a growth hormone. Men, prostate. And then add men, ED, erectile dysfunction is 100% insulin resistance. 100% of the time. Your blood vessels are being affected by inflammation, and the inflammation is coming from high circulating insulin. Pal, it's food. Why do you think diabetics have about an 80% men, 80% higher rate of erectile dysfunction? Why do men get that? I'll tell you why. It's insulin. I remember men coming in the office, and men are like, I always laugh. You know me, I'm going to tease a little bit. Men never like coming into the office, okay? Why? What's the matter, sir? Nothing. Why are you here? I don't know. My wife made me come. And I used to laugh, okay, because I'm a man. and so all I'm saying is that, isn't that hilarious? And men would look up at my chart, you see, and they'd see erectile dysfunction. I got to tell you a funny story. A guy came in with his wife. I always liked it when the wife come in, because then I get the whole truth and nothing but. Men, not so much. What's wrong? Nothing. Are you feeling good? Yep. Why are you here? My wife. Anyway, one time I was in, this is a true story. and the guy, he checked it off because I think his wife filled out the form. Okay. He was about 60, I think. He had erectile dysfunction. I mean, he had other issues, but he checked that one off. And I really had a chuckle out of it. You know what I told him? I said, I can fix that for you. And his wife, I don't know if Jeanette and Nicole remember this, but his wife said, I don't want you to fix that. I'm tired of it. I just about fell off my chair because she didn't want me to fix it. I was just dying. I was laughing so hard. Oh man, I had fun in the office. But, you know, most wives want it fixed. Anyway, I told the guy I could fix it. Give me 30 days and watch the difference. Because I'm going to get your insulin down, which will affect your blood vessels. Blood vessels really get messed up with sugar. Really messed up. First thing that happens, and that's why sugar is so toxic, it will affect your blood vessels, especially at first. The first things that get affected are capillaries. Capillaries are little wee connection between the arteries and the veins. They're so small, but eyeballs, erectile dysfunction, kidney function, capillaries. They used to look at my list on the wall and I said, yeah, yep. That's insulin. It's food, and we need to fix. You can take the little blue pill if you want, but that's not going to fix anything. Men, that won't fix it. It's not meant to fix. So all of these, you know, strange conditions and symptoms, the vast majority you can bring back to insulin resistance. We've talked a lot about this. Any kind of swelling. And let me finish with this. Ladies, if you have any kind of hormonal imbalance, any kind, always start with the reset. Because insulin will lead to inflammation, and inflammation will lead to hormonal imbalances, and it will affect your brain. Now remember, we're talking about the hypothalamus and the hippocampus. One of them is memory, absolutely. The other, though, is hormones. And inflammation will affect headquarters. But inflammation, you got to take it another step back. Insulin. It'll affect headquarters for your hormones. And that's why we get such good results with hormonal symptoms and hormonal imbalances. Are you having fun yet? Okay, guys. Anyway, that's a little bit of teaching this morning. Okay? A little bit of reminiscing of my practice days. All of my days were loaded with fun. Because for two reasons. I love people. And I sure love my patients. And secondly, I had a message to deliver. We can help. But it ain't going to be easy, honey. You're going to have to make some changes. But anything worthwhile is never easy, is it? in life. It's never easy, but it's worth it. Okay, now guys, I didn't breathe there for about 30 minutes. Okay. No, guys, we really appreciate our audience here. And again, I'm amazed. This summer, apparently, according to Tony Jr., we're going to hit about 1 million downloads on the Doctors In podcast. Amazing. That puts us up with the big guys in the podcast industry. Amazing. Facebook, we got 70,000 followers on Facebook. 70,000 and change. Amazing. That's incredible. Okay? Every morning we get a big audience that's shared, and by the time I'm off, we're into the thousands, and then usually about 10,000 a day that have viewed these podcasts. It's amazing. But that's you guys. So what are we asking? Get the message out. Be a messenger. Get it out to your friends. If they don't listen, well, you try. Okay? You try. And your family and friends. We appreciate you guys beyond belief when I say it. Okay. Talk to you soon.